my peers, because I think they believe it too.
This is the basement floor. He has been shot. Oswald has been shot. Lee Oswald.
Dr. Crenshaw's role in history was not over. Just 2 days later, another victim of the madness that gripped Dallas was wheeled through this hospital emergency entrance. Lee Harvey Oswald, the accused presidential assassin, was shot. And though mortally wounded, he too was brought here. Inside, there was another urgent rush of medics to the trauma room. Among them, again, the young Dr. Crenshaw. As the team was around him at the table, working, trying to save his life, you were called away. What was that about?
The nurse came and tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I would take the phone call. And I picked up the phone, and it was like thunder, like God was talking. He said, "This is the president, Lyndon B. Johnson." I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "How is the accused assassin doing?" I said, "Well, he's critical, but right now he is holding his own." He then said, "I want you to take a message to the operating surgeon and have a deathbed statement from Oswald."
Oswald died on the table without saying a word. Could LBJ have made the call? The answer is yes. 2020 has obtained copies of White House logs from November 24th, 1963. LBJ was in Washington attending church when Oswald was shot at 12:21 Eastern Time. And at 12:45 p.m., the same time Oswald was in surgery in Dallas, LBJ was first told he had been shot by Secretary of State Dean Rusk. Moments later, LBJ, according to historian William Manchester, said to Robert Kennedy, quote, "We've got to do something. We've got to get involved." President Johnson then had 15 minutes to make a call to Dallas before going outside to be with Mrs. Jacqueline Kennedy for the procession to the rotunda, where the late President Kennedy would be lying in state. However, there is no official record of this phone call. What could it all mean? If LBJ were on the line to Dr. Crenshaw demanding a deathbed confession, it means the new president was moving quickly to wrap up the case along government lines. How much of that was in the Warren Commission information?
None.
None at all?
I never talked to the Warren Commission. No one knew ever that Lyndon Johnson called Parkland.
Today, at the School Book Depository Museum, among the exhibits, is a display of a few sketches of the Kennedy autopsy, along with the official explanation that the wounds were from bullets fired only from the rear. What was your reaction when you saw the results, photographs and the sketches from Bethesda, the autopsy done there?
It was beyond disbelief for me. I could not believe that a real pathologist would put out something this poorly.
Was this the same man you saw as far as John Kennedy, the same body that you observed?
Not from the pictures that I saw. And I put him in the coffin.
So you say their report, in effect, is a fraud?
I say that it's wrongly done, and the way it was done, maybe they were directed to do it that way.
Tom, how does his story compare with that of other doctors who were in that room when the president died?
Hugh, most of the doctors there immediately after his death said they thought the gunshots came from the front, but when they got later autopsy information, they changed their mind and either said no, they agreed with the Warren Commission, or they weren't sure of the direction.
Did you get the feeling that Dr. Crenshaw was waiting rather impatiently all these years for the time to come when he could come forward?
I got the feeling that Dr. Crenshaw is a very angry man, that he feels he's had very valuable information which has been withheld for a long period of time. He still carries anger over the way the police, the Secret Service, and the FBI treated the medical staff with guns drawn and sort of took over the situation there. So I think he's glad to vent this.
Yesterday, I talked to Richard Mosk, who was a young commission staffer at that time on the Warren Commission, and he's very firm in his saying that he and other members of the commission really believe they did everything they could and that all the answers are in the report.
Well, perhaps so, but maybe they closed the report too early. To have not gotten to someone like Crenshaw and put his views in, for example, is a failing. Also, there seemed to have been a failing in a number of other areas as far as information that basically just
has been surfacing that's not in the report.
What about files that are still under wraps?
Of course, Congress is moving to open those, but the important thing is they're opening the files, not reopening the entire case for further investigation. It will be limited to just what's already known, so Crenshaw's information still wouldn't get in.
This mystery's been going on a long time and probably will a long time to come. Thank you, Tom.
Right.